Let me ask you something. What if I told you that right now, at this very moment, your body could be sending you warning signals that you're heading straight toward type 2 diabetes, and you don't even know it? What if I told you that over 98 million Americans have prediabetes, but 8 out of 10 of them have absolutely no idea? That means millions of people are walking around thinking they're perfectly healthy, while their blood sugar is quietly climbing higher and higher every single day. Here's the scary part. Prediabetes doesn't just appear overnight. Your body has been trying to tell you for months, maybe even years, that something is wrong. But because most doctors don't test for it unless you ask, and because the symptoms are so subtle, most people miss the signs completely. Today, I'm going to walk you through every single warning sign of prediabetes, explain exactly what's happening inside your body, and most importantly, show you what you can do right now to stop it before it turns into full-blown diabetes. So if you care about your health, your energy, and your future, you need to watch this video all the way to the end. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Dr. Orlena, and if you're new here, this is where we talk about real health, real science, and real solutions that actually work. We don't do gimmicks or quick fixes here. We focus on evidence-based medicine that helps you take control of your health naturally and sustainably. If that sounds good to you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. Today, we're talking about prediabetes, which is one of the most underdiagnosed and misunderstood conditions in modern medicine. And the reason I'm so passionate about this topic is because prediabetes is 100% preventable and reversible if you catch it early enough. But if you ignore it, it will almost certainly progress into type 2 diabetes. And once that happens, everything changes. Your risk of heart disease skyrockets. Your risk of stroke doubles. You become more vulnerable to kidney disease, nerve damage, vision loss, and even dementia. But here's the good news. If you can recognize the warning signs early and take action now, you can completely reverse prediabetes and protect yourself from all of those complications. So let's start by understanding what prediabetes actually is, why it happens, and what it's doing to your body right now. What is prediabetes? Prediabetes is a condition where your blood sugar levels are higher than normal, but not yet high enough to be diagnosed as type 2 diabetes. Think of it as the middle ground between healthy blood sugar and full-blown diabetes. It's your body's way of waving a giant red flag and saying, hey, something's wrong here. We need to fix this before it gets worse. When you eat food, especially carbohydrates, your body breaks it down into glucose, which is a type of sugar that your cells use for energy. To get that glucose out of your bloodstream and into your cells, your pancreas releases a hormone called insulin. Insulin acts like a key that unlocks the door to your cells so glucose can go inside and give you energy. But when you have prediabetes, your cells start to become resistant to insulin. That means the key doesn't work as well anymore, so your pancreas has to produce more and more insulin to get the same job done. Over time, your pancreas gets exhausted, and it can't keep up with the demand. That's when your blood sugar starts to rise, and that's when prediabetes begins. Now, the official medical definition of prediabetes is based on 3 different tests. Your fasting blood sugar is between 100 and 125 milligrams per deciliter. Your A1C, which measures your average blood sugar over the past 2 to 3 months, is between 5.7% and 6.4%. Or your oral glucose tolerance test shows a blood sugar level between 140 and 199 milligrams per deciliter, 2 hours after drinking a sugary drink. If any of these numbers apply to you, you have prediabetes. Why prediabetes matters. You might be thinking, okay, so my blood sugar is a little high. What's the big deal? Well, here's the big deal. Without lifestyle changes, 70% of people with prediabetes will eventually develop type 2 diabetes. And once you cross that line, the damage to your body accelerates rapidly. High blood sugar is toxic to your blood vessels, your nerves, and your organs. It causes inflammation, oxidative stress, and something called glycation, which is when sugar molecules stick to proteins in your body and damage them. Over time, this leads to heart attacks, strokes, kidney failure, blindness, amputations, and cognitive decline. But prediabetes is your warning. It's your chance to turn things around before permanent damage occurs. And the beautiful thing is that prediabetes is not a life sentence. With the right changes to your diet, exercise, sleep, and stress management, you can bring your blood sugar back to normal and completely reverse the condition. But first, you need to know if you have it. So let's talk about the warning signs. Warning sign number 1. Increased thirst and frequent urination. One of the earliest signs of prediabetes is feeling thirsty all the time, even when you're drinking plenty of water. You might also notice that you're running to the bathroom a lot more than usual, especially at night. This happens because when your blood sugar is high, your kidneys have to work overtime to filter out the excess glucose. To do that, they pull water from your tissues, which makes you dehydrated and thirsty. Now, this symptom is often dismissed as just drinking too much coffee or getting older. But if you're waking up multiple times a night to pee, or if you feel like you can never quite quench your thirst, that's a red flag. Your body is literally trying to flush out the sugar through your urine, and it's using up all your water to do it. Warning sign number 2. Unexplained fatigue. If you're constantly tired, even after a full night's sleep, prediabetes could be the reason. When your cells are resistant to insulin, glucose can't get inside your cells to give you energy. So even though you have plenty of sugar floating around in your bloodstream, your cells are starving for fuel. It's like having a full gas tank but a clogged fuel line. The energy is there, but your body can't access it. This kind of fatigue is different from just being sleepy. It's a deep, bone-tired exhaustion that doesn't go away no matter how much you rest. You might feel sluggish in the morning, crash in the afternoon, and struggle to get through the day without caffeine or sugar. And ironically, when you eat sugar to try to boost your energy, it actually makes the problem worse because it spikes your blood sugar even higher. Warning sign number 3. Increased hunger and cravings. Another common sign of prediabetes is feeling hungry all the time, especially for carbs and sweets. This happens for the same reason as the fatigue. Your cells aren't getting the glucose they need, so your brain sends out hunger signals to try to get more fuel. But no matter how much you eat, you never feel satisfied because the glucose still can't get into your cells. This creates a vicious cycle. You eat more carbs, your blood sugar spikes, your pancreas pumps out more insulin, your cells become even more resistant, and then your blood sugar crashes, which makes you crave more carbs. It's like being stuck on a blood sugar roller coaster, and it's one of the main reasons why people with prediabetes struggle with weight gain and food cravings. Warning sign number 4. Unexplained weight gain, especially around the belly. If you've been gaining weight, especially around your midsection, even though you haven't changed your diet or exercise routine, insulin resistance could be to blame. When your body produces too much insulin, it tells your cells to store fat instead of burning it. And unfortunately, the fat tends to accumulate around your belly, which is the most dangerous type of fat. Belly fat, also called visceral fat, wraps around your internal organs and releases inflammatory chemicals that make insulin resistance even worse. It also increases your risk of heart disease, fatty liver, and metabolic syndrome. So if your waistline is expanding and you can't figure out why, it's time to get your blood sugar checked. Warning sign number 5. Blurred vision. High blood sugar can cause the lenses in your eyes to swell, which leads to blurred or distorted vision. This happens because excess glucose pulls fluid into your eye tissues, changing the shape of your lens and making it harder to focus. The good news is that this type of vision problem is usually temporary and goes away once your blood sugar comes back down. But if you ignore it and your blood sugar stays high for months or years, it can lead to more serious eye problems like diabetic retinopathy, which damages the blood vessels in your retina and can cause permanent vision loss. So if you notice that your vision is getting blurry, especially after meals, don't just assume you need new glasses. Get your blood sugar tested. Warning sign. 6. Slow healing cuts and bruises. Have you noticed that cuts, scrapes, or bruises are taking longer to heal than they used to? That's another warning sign of prediabetes. High blood sugar damages your blood vessels and impairs your immune system, which makes it harder for your body to repair damaged tissue and fight off infections. This is why people with diabetes are more prone to infections, especially in their feet and legs. Even a small cut can turn into a serious wound if it doesn't heal properly. So if you find that minor injuries are lingering for weeks instead of days, it's time to take a closer look at your blood sugar levels. Warning sign number 7. Tingling or numbness in your hands and feet. Tingling numbness, or a pins and needles sensation in your hands and feet, is a sign of nerve damage, also called neuropathy. This happens when high blood sugar damages the small blood vessels that supply oxygen and nutrients to your nerves. Over time, the nerves start to malfunction, and you lose sensation in your extremities. In the early stages, you might just notice occasional tingling or a burning sensation. But if it's left untreated, it can progress to permanent nerve damage, chronic pain, and loss of balance. This is one of the most serious complications of diabetes, and it's one of the main reasons why early detection and treatment of prediabetes is so critical. Warning sign number 8. Darkened skin patches. If you notice dark, velvety patches of skin on your neck, armpits, groin, or knuckles, you might have a condition called acanthosis nigricans. This is a common skin change that happens with insulin resistance. The high levels of insulin in your bloodstream stimulate the growth of skin cells, which causes these dark, thickened patches to form. Acanthosis nigricans is not dangerous by itself, but it's a visible marker of insulin resistance and prediabetes. So if you see these dark patches appearing on your skin, don't ignore them. They're a sign that your body is struggling to manage your blood sugar, and you need to take action. Warning sign number 9. Frequent infections. High blood sugar weakens your immune system, which makes you more vulnerable to infections. Women with prediabetes often experience frequent yeast infections or urinary tract infections. Men and women alike might notice that they're getting more colds, sinus infections, or skin infections than usual. This happens because glucose is a food source for bacteria and yeast. When your blood sugar is high, these organisms thrive and multiply, making it easier for infections to take hold. Plus, your immune cells don't function as well when they're surrounded by too much sugar, so your body has a harder time fighting off the infection. Warning sign. 10. Brain fog and difficulty concentrating. If you're having trouble focusing, remembering things, or thinking clearly, prediabetes could be affecting your brain. Fluctuating blood sugar levels can impair cognitive function and make it hard to concentrate. You might feel mentally foggy, forgetful, or just not as sharp as you used to be. This is because your brain relies on a steady supply of glucose to function properly. When your blood sugar is too high or too low, it disrupts the delicate balance your brain needs, and your cognitive performance suffers. Over time, chronic high blood sugar can even increase your risk of Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. Who is at risk for prediabetes? Now that you know the warning signs, let's talk about who is most at risk. The truth is, prediabetes can affect anyone, but certain factors make you more vulnerable. If you're overweight or obese, especially if you carry weight around your belly, your risk is much higher. If you have a family history of diabetes, you're also at increased risk because genetics play a role in how your body processes sugar. Age is another factor. The older you get, the more likely you are to develop insulin resistance, especially after age 45. But don't be fooled into thinking prediabetes is just an old person's disease. We're seeing more and more young adults and even teenagers with prediabetes because of poor diet, lack of exercise, and rising obesity rates. If you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or a history of gestational diabetes, you're also at higher risk. Women with polycystic ovary syndrome, or PCOS, are particularly vulnerable because PCOS is closely linked to insulin resistance. And if you're sedentary, sitting for long hours every day without much physical activity, that also increases your risk. Certain ethnic groups are more prone to prediabetes and diabetes, including African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Native Americans, Asian Americans, and Pacific Islanders. This is partly due to genetic factors, but also because of higher rates of obesity and other risk factors in these populations. How to get tested for prediabetes. If you recognize any of these warning signs, or if you have any of the risk factors I just mentioned, the next step is to get tested. The good news is that testing for prediabetes is simple, affordable, and widely available. All you need is a blood test, and there are 3 main tests that doctors use. The first is the fasting blood glucose test, which measures your blood sugar after you've fasted for at least 8 hours. The second is the A1C test, which gives you an average of your blood sugar levels over the past 2 to 3 months. And the third is the oral glucose tolerance test, which measures how your body handles a large dose of sugar. Most doctors will start with the fasting blood glucose or the A1C test because they're quick, easy, and don't require any special preparation. If you're at high risk, I recommend asking your doctor to check your blood sugar at least once a year or even more frequently if you have multiple risk factors. Can prediabetes be reversed? Now here's the most important part of this entire video. Yes, prediabetes can absolutely be reversed. In fact, research shows that with the right lifestyle changes, you can bring your blood sugar back to normal and reduce your risk of developing type 2 diabetes by up to 58%. And if you're over 60, that number jumps to 71%. The key is to take action now, before your pancreas becomes too damaged to recover. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to reverse the condition. But if you catch it early and commit to making changes, you can completely turn things around. So what does that look like? It starts with your diet. You need to reduce your intake of refined carbohydrates and added sugars, which spike your blood sugar and worsen insulin resistance. That means cutting back on white bread, white rice, pasta, pastries, soda, candy, and processed foods. Instead, focus on whole foods like vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats, and high-fiber carbs like beans, lentils, and whole grains. Exercise is just as important as diet. Physical activity helps your muscles absorb glucose without needing insulin, which lowers your blood sugar and improves insulin sensitivity. You don't have to run marathons or spend hours in the gym. Even 30 minutes of moderate exercise like brisk walking 5 days a week can make a huge difference. Sleep is another critical factor. When you don't get enough sleep, your body produces more cortisol, which is a stress hormone that raises your blood sugar and promotes insulin resistance. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night and try to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day to regulate your circadian rhythm. Stress management is also essential. Chronic stress keeps your cortisol levels elevated, which makes it harder to control your blood sugar. Find healthy ways to manage stress, whether it's through meditation, yoga, deep breathing, spending time in nature, or talking to a therapist. And finally, if you're overweight, losing even 5 to 10% of your body weight can significantly improve your insulin sensitivity and lower your blood sugar. You don't have to lose 50 pounds overnight. Small, consistent changes add up over time, and every pound you lose is a step in the right direction. Listen, I know this is a lot of information, and it might feel overwhelming, but I want you to remember this. Prediabetes is not a death sentence. It's a wake-up call. It's your body giving you a chance to take control before things get worse. And the truth is, most people who develop type 2 diabetes never had to get there. They just didn't know the warning signs, and they didn't know what to do about it. But now you know. You know what to look for. You know what's happening inside your body. And you know exactly what steps to take to reverse it. So if you recognize any of these warning signs, please don't wait. Don't brush it off. Don't assume it's just part of getting older. Get your blood sugar tested, talk to your doctor, and start making changes today. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. You could literally save someone's life by sharing this information. Also, drop a comment below and let me know if you've been diagnosed with prediabetes or if you've successfully reversed it. I love hearing your stories, and it helps inspire others who are on the same journey. And if you want more videos like this, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. I post new videos every week on health, wellness, and fitness, and my goal is to give you the tools and knowledge you need to take control of your health naturally. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Dr. Orlena, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay healthy, stay strong, and remember, your health is your wealth.